This is my hometown. LA has had a jewelry district since the late 1800s. My family's been a part of that history all along, 4 generations of history. What you see here feels to me just like my own backyard. It's a few square blocks that contribute billions of dollars to the economy every year. Today, I'm here to show you all about something almost unheard of, nearly mythical in the jewelry business. Color, of course, is a big part of jewelry. From colored stones to colored gold, and not just yellow, but rose and white and even a pale green. So my backyard here is exactly where to find experts who know the history and can grasp the implications of something new. A color of gold that has only been seen on the very rarest of occasions, only been possible in recent decades. So, let's start with a visit to the California Jewelry Mart, where we'll meet with an old friend of mine, one of the very best of those experts.
Okay, come in, please. Jerry. Morning, Daniel.
Good to
How
see
you doing?
you.
Good to see you,
man. Jerry's an estate dealer. Jerry Heidenreich, Trumpet and Horn Company.
Yep.
Been downtown a very long time. You and I have known each other for 25 years.
25 years.
Like
Are we that old?
No, we're not. No, 10 years. Anyway, yeah, Jerry, he works the estate side of things, and I work the metal side of things, and you've definitely got the expertise for perspective on history and color and the efforts the designers and jewelers have made over basically the millennia, essentially, you know, to bring color to the beauty, to personal adornment like jewelry. So I just wanted to get some perspective from you, because I've got a project upcoming to bring in something not completely unheard of before, but close. Let me start with this, just show you this render. We're going to make purple gold independence.
Wow.
Okay.
That is definitely something I've never seen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just to, for people who don't know, the color of gold. For thousands of years in jewelry, gold's been one color, yellow, or varying degrees of yellow.
Sure.
And I know in the early 1800s was the first time that jewelers were somewhat experimenting with changing the color of gold. Okay. I know historically the Russians were phenomenal at it. The Russians started probably about 1815. They perfected the process of adding copper successfully to gold, making it pink. Oh, nice. So they were the real first group of people experimenting successfully with different colors of metal. Oh. So you see a lot of old Russian jewelry from the early 1800s to this century in rose gold. Beautiful color, but they were the first ones to do it. The second people successfully were the Germans. And there's a jewelry manufacturing area called Pforzheim in southern Germany. Yes. They perfected white gold. Okay. While it was experimented before, about 100 years before, that was the first successful commercial production of white gold. I think it's around 1915. Okay. Because before, if people wanted white metal, use silver. Yes. And if you wanted to change that color, you would tarnish it or oxidize it to get the black look. Right. Or people were experimenting at that time with platinum, which is a white metal. Right. But in gold, as far as most historians know and agree, Russians pink in 1815, and 100 years later, white metal in Germany. Otherwise, for thousands of years, gold's been yellow. So, have I ever seen purple? No. Okay. Do I know of purple gold? No. All right. It's been used. People have enameled gold, which is another process using different silica and glass to change the appearance of gold. Sure. But it's like a plating or a covering of the metal. It doesn't change the color of the actual metal. Sure, sure. So I would love for someone to do this. Yeah, we're gonna see what we can do. It's very interesting. It's very interesting to me that so if a clever designer or jeweler wanted to bring any palette of color at all, well, gemstones obviously had to be the first early thing to get color involved, and color brings its own aesthetic, of course, to the game. It's interesting because the way you do purple, the guys at Pforzheim never had a chance. No. I was looking into it a little bit, and we've seen jewelry making for something like
5,000 to 7,000 years for adornment. We've seen lost wax casting for something like 2,000 years, 2 millennia of lost wax casting. Okay. In the 70s, some technology started to become available that made itself known in our industry in the 80s, and that was casting machines that were essentially all electric, so no flame. And then you could seal up the area where the metal's going to be mixed and melted and cast into the plaster flask to make the shape, completely without an atmosphere. And those machines came out, like I say, in the 80s. So for 99.9% of jewelry making history, purple was not going to happen in the metal, okay? Now it can. I want to mention a couple of people that did it before. Hans Mevis did it before, Steve Kretschmer did it before, famously in the 90s with an award-winning piece, got the Spectrum Award, great big purple gold lightning bolt in a crystal ball. It was a very cool piece.
I think I remember seeing that at HETA.
Yes.
In Tucson.
Steve Kretschmer, he's passed away now. Of course, the company survives, run by his daughter and a great crew in Arizona. But when he was here in Los Angeles, he would let me into the shop and we would talk, and I was a metal guy around, so we had a common interest. And somewhere in my collection is this tiny crumble of purple gold that he had made at the time off of a scroll, you know, that I just had to keep. And he helped me learn some of the metallurgy, and when people do things that exotic, boy, you learn the basics really, really fast. He's the guy that taught me to get the air out of it. Other people kind of tried it, you know, over the years. Where I work, we've got one of those machines, so we're going to give it a try right here upcoming. So,
fantastic.
You know, we don't always know in advance what's going to happen, but I'm pretty confident we're going to have something to show you.
Great.
So we'll see. So you've never actually laid eyes on a finished piece in purple. It's never
no,
something
and I've dealt most of my area of expertise is jewelry 250 years old and newer.
Okay, right.
You know, I've seen, you know, silver, oxidized silver, the rose gold, you know, all the different color golds and so many different types of jewelry, but never purple. Never purple.
Okay, well, all
yeah,
right.
in fact, unless if it was someone else other than you telling me that, I wouldn't believe it. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. Right. Anyway, back to purple. So, yeah, we're going to give this a shot, and wish me luck, and thank you so much for taking
all the
some
best,
time with
Daniel.
me,
I can't wait to see it.
We'll see what happens.
Great.
It was great talking to Jerry the other day, but you know what? I got to get in here, get some metal, and get out to the shop. So, I grab some gold. So, what makes purple even happen? What could we possibly mix with gold that would make it turn purple? There's no purple metal. They're all gray, or white, or silver. Okay, yes, there's copper that's red. That's not going to do it. That makes rose gold. This is it, aluminum. In today's experiment, we're using Reynolds wrap, just because I can wrap that up and use it in the crucible pretty well, and show you exactly what happens when you attempt to make purple with a torch. But aluminum, this is it. Now we also add a little bit of platinum group, trying to get the grain structure of the metal in really good shape, so it's not quite so brittle, but this is a test, so in a few minutes we'll see what's going to happen. So please join me at the workbench. First thing, light the torch. That's hydrogen. Dialing in some oxygen so we'll have enough heat. Melting the 24 karat gold and looking to mix the little bit of platinum that's in the bottom. Being a little patient with it, waiting for it to melt, waiting for the platinum family metal to incorporate there a little bit, just stirring it in. A little more heat. You can see that's a real liquid. It's no trouble to stir, it's sloshing around. That's a liquid, it's molten. Now we're going to cast it onto the aluminum real soon and see what happens. There it goes. Now watch what it does. Instantly, not a liquid. That's more than hot enough to melt aluminum or gold, or the two together. It's just turned into some kind of paste. That's just not molten metal. Oh gosh, alright, that was quite a mess. I mean, that was such a mess of a melt. Those metals would not hook up. The oxygen got to the aluminum and just destroyed the melt. I had to smash the crucible just so that I could get it into the refining. Actually, I damaged this handle too. But you can see here, it's nothing but a mess. The black metal you see is all oxidized garbage. I mean, it's just absolutely crap. A fail. You can't melt aluminum and gold with a torch. The air gets to it, it's not going to work. The lesson there is, we're going to have to make this purple gold where there isn't any air. Now, by no coincidence whatsoever, we have one of those machines, and we will be getting to showing you how to cast purple gold on that machine. But boy, right now, let me tell you, the torch and the crucible are no place for purple. This is it, the Manfredi Multi-Hertz Induction Casting Machine. This is the kind of modern technology that allows us to cast in a special atmosphere. Notice that big hatch cover. There's a big vacuum chamber, an induction coil for heat, and a large swing arm that spins fast enough to cause the metal to fill the void. But first, I have to remove the parts used for platinum casting and replace them with those made for working with gold. That means another larger coil, a different swing arm, and of course, a different crucible. Next, we make sure the parts move smoothly, we make sure the controls move smoothly, a final check, and we're ready. Here's our ingredients. 80% gold, approximately 20% very fine aluminum, and this little teeny tiny bit of platinum family to help it melt. I'm going to put the aluminum on the bottom, gold platinum right. Gas, filling, going to cycle that through a little bit. Filling with argon. Okay, heard that valve? Shutting it off. When I turn it back on, the vacuum will come on, pull that argon out, and then refill again. Setting the heat. Here comes the heat. Wow, that's melting fast. Wow, that's really melting fast. Coming up on the heat. Coming up on the heat. Kind of solidified on it. On the heat. Wow, it's just not going liquid. Now we might be starting to get there. A little higher than normal 18 karat melts. Don't see any movement. Coming up more on the heat, approaching 13. I'm going to let it rip at 13. It looks really thick to me. I don't see any movement, but I want to see what we get. Experiment 1 in 3, 2, 1. Letting the air back in the chamber. It look molten. got two intact castings. What's happened here is I've cut these off at the screws. Actually, they kind of snapped off, so it's still a little brittle. But I've got two intact discs here with the hole. Looks like it's complete. I don't have flashing. I do have a generous button that I got to clean up and cast here for the next run. But test one is a success. Now it looks gray now because we haven't taken the oxides off the outside, but look where I cut it. Can you see the purple there? Anyway, we'll have closer images of this later, but we have success on our first shot.
Before I get carried away with what went right, let's look at what went wrong. I cast way too hot, which created this shrinkage porosity you see here. The metal just looks strange when molten, more like a smoothie than water. Looking at the oxide coating, I did not get as much air replaced with argon as I should.
We learned a couple of things. We can make purple. It will fill. In fact, let me go ahead and show you what we have in the crucible here from last time. It's kind of a little bit of stuff that didn't quite fill, and I think that's because it was a little too oxidized. Notice it isn't purple, it's really brittle. This looks like burnt aluminum to me. I don't think there's much gold in it. I think this is actually the aluminum dross off the top because we didn't get 100% of the oxygen out of the chamber. So, lesson for test 2. 1, we're going to cycle the air more to get a better atmosphere inside. 2, I'm going to just trust to the science, the paperwork, the theory that says this stuff should be molten, way molten at 1000 C. So I'm going to actually cast it 200 degrees centigrade cooler at 1000 degrees centigrade. We'll see if it fills. We'll see what we get. We'll see if we get any improvement. But we're going to have to actually do it to find those things out. That's what's next. One other change we're going to make, to get after the oxygen, I'm going to use a carbon crucible. I'm going to take a chance of a little reaction between the alloy and the carbon this time, but this goes after oxygen more fiercely than metal does, so perhaps that will be a little more protection than this provided against the oxygen in the chamber. I believe the real challenge here now is get the oxygen out of the equation, and the rest of the problems will be handleable sooner or later. See a diamond. Oh, I see a still shiny, nice and shiny diamond. Okay, we've made purple. We've got the fillings to cast, and we've done stone in place. As a little side note, my crew here with me today, drinks are on me tonight. This wax was milled for me by Daniel over at Kessler's Diamond. The diamond was provided to us by Jerry Heidenreich of Trumpet and Horn, downtown, a state dealer. And this gentleman's ring, which is, oh, this looks much better than the last casting. This gentleman's ring here is just an old standard public domain man's design from probably my grandfather's day. But I'll tell you what, I am very happy to see purple already. We don't have a thick oxide layer like we did before. I can see purple just rubbing it with my thumb rather than having to get to the wire wheel or the grinder first. Yes, For the third casting, I am going to wait for the 1000 degrees because we had some metal left in the bottom of the crucible that looked horrible. But I'm ready to do this again. And this time it's going to be a tree with a diamond in place and a little gold bezel in place to see if we can do bimetal casting. Just like Chatsworth in July. Get this in. There it goes. Now it's taken off. Now we're pretty molten. Now I think we're there and holding for the mix. Just want the heat to cycle on and off just a little. Yeah, looks like it's hitting a second phase. Now it's slowed down a little. It's coming up steady now. There it goes. Accelerating again. Holding for the mix. There's the cycle. 30-second spin cycle. Twice. There we go. My rule of thumb is wait till the red's gone from the button. It's not gone yet. There they are. It's still brittle. I didn't expect to solve that today. The problems I expected to solve today were proper mix in the right atmosphere, proper casting temperature, proper filling with bimetal casting, proper filling with diamond in place. Diamond was in the wax burned out, the diamond was firmly held by the plaster, somewhat protected by this plaster we use called Plasticast. There we are, a shiny looking diamond and a nice little pattern that was made into the wax. Thin oxide layer, not real thick. Just rubbing with my fingers we got down to the purple. So, some professional finishing. Oh, I think I see a little glimmer. Can you see that glimmer?
Yep.
I see some glimmer of the crystal. Maybe there's some advantage to be had by the crystal size once you're stuck with a rough grain structure. That's really interesting. It's the opposite of what I wanted. Those being naked eye visible. Wow. Okay. Alright, brittleness and grain structure, work in progress. Color, done. Filling, done. Stone in place,
bimetal casting, done and done. Jerry, good to see you again.
Good to see you again.
I do have some good news for us right here.
Great, I'm excited.
Whole conversation we had a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Okay, let me show you just kind of where this started. That's the first thing we did. That's just kind of a weird little lump of metal.
But it's purple.
But it's purple.
Yeah.
It's purple. You can see it's really there.
Was this part of the sprue or the sprue base?
It was a failed melt, actually,
Okay.
as I was starting to get a handle on the temperatures and that kind of thing in there. Okay? And then we moved on a little bit, and we got this, and we got this. We actually, for experimentation purposes, did what I suggest nobody else ever do, which is actually do a whole ring out of the purple.
And why is that?
The metal is basically like glass.
Okay.
It is glass brittle. Technically, it's called an intermetallic alloy. What that means to you and me is don't expect a ring shank to hold up, don't expect prongs to hold up, don't expect to solder or saw or anything much. You can't even set in it. You can set in the wax, you can bimetal cast it, but you're basically, one way to look at it, imagine you're casting yourself an opal.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay?
Wouldn't want to do it.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
but yes, you would, but you would just, pendants, earrings,
Yes.
pins, not rings, not bracelets.
Not rings. Unless you're looking for a short-term commitment.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, there's people out there that do them as trims and rings and things like that, and good for them, but it's just past what I want to suggest, because our purpose here is to teach a bunch of custom jewelers how to work with this properly and not have terrible trouble with it, and at the same time, not create a reputation problem for the metal either by overreaching on where it belongs. Okay, I think
Makes
that's
sense.
a legit concern. So anyway, this is an example of where we just went ahead and cast the diamond into the purple gold.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Okay. Okay.
Beautiful purple.
So it can't be set, but that doesn't mean the diamond can't be there.
Correct.
Okay. So we're very, very excited to see that work. We were very excited to see that when we put a diamond in a gold setting, that could also work and be put in there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But, you know, enough of the preamble. Let me show you the pendant we really made. There you are.
Oh, that's beautiful. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
That is spectacular.
Yeah, we're very excited about it. As you can see, there's a number of components. We made a white gold outer frame that's 18 karat rhodium-free nickel white gold. Okay. The yellow gold you see is my 950 or 95% pure gold, where I keep playing with the formula to try and get to 14 karat strength, and we're right about there. Okay. And I'm trying to get as close to 24 karat color as we can. And that's all designed to hold and protect the purple centerpiece, masterpiece, in the middle.
That's great.
There's even, believe it, just kind of fun and there's even a little hidden diamond under that design.
Beautiful.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
Wow. Wow. It's purple.
Oh my gosh.
Really cool.
That is insane. That is beautiful. I've never seen anything like it. It's really great.
It's beautiful. It's definitely an interesting piece. I feel like the purple, in the way that you've designed it, it definitely makes it more of, what's the word? Sort of like a piece of art or like a conversational piece.
Yeah.
It changes it just from like a piece of jewelry to more of a conversation item.
And you've never seen purple at all before? Heard
Never.
of it or anything?
Never.
Okay.
Never
All right.
seen it, never, you know, I've been in the jewelry industry for 10 years now. I haven't seen anything like this.
Oh, that's great.
It's gorgeous.
Okay. So now where's it going to go? You know, we're making this possible for a lot more jewelers than ever before.
Mm-hmm.
We've actually made arrangements with a local caster, and I'm sure there'll be more to follow, that have the right equipment, where anybody could send their design or send their wax within appropriate design constraints and offer this to the public next month. Bam, it's on the market. So exclusive, high carat, tricky, a little careful to work with. But you're not at all unfamiliar with things that are delicate on
No, I mean,
fine jewelry, right?
Most of the things I deal in with the estate jewelry is 50 to 150 years old. So a lot of the things that I deal in are very fragile, have to be careful being worn. There's a lot of things that are pendants and earrings that would never survive as a bracelet or a ring.
Right. Okay.
And they've lasted 150 years.
That's really encouraging.
Yeah.
Because as a metal guy, that's the part that scared me. You know, I'm used to trying to put a lot of durability and all that into the alloys, but this one, that's not going to happen.
Well, I think, you know, if the jeweler or the designer conveys that to the client,
Yeah.
you know, just says,
Yeah.
you know, that it is a fragile component, wear it carefully
Yeah.
and wear it properly.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a home run.
But you're an appraiser.
I
What
am.
does this bring to the table? If this had shown up and you knew it was purple gold, you know,
Okay.
so you didn't misunderstand what you're seeing because it's so
Right.
rare, what would that do to the numbers in your head, or how would that impact?
With my certification, I'm supposed to come up with about 3 comps. So basically, if I don't find a comp, a
Yeah.
comparable, because obviously this is a new concept, so there's nothing else
Yeah.
out there. The next step I would be doing is, if this piece got lost or stolen, what would I have to do to replace it? I would have to make it from scratch, right? Because
right.
nobody, you know, maybe there's one designer that's selling it. And so it would definitely increase the value because it's a difficult thing to make. It's not readily available, makes it more unique in the market. And then it also will depend on, you know, if you do get a specific designer or somebody, or if you have somebody who's putting their name on their
Like a
piece.
major name, sure,
Exactly,
sure.
a major name on the piece, that would increase the value as well.
Okay, you've done a few appraisals in your time.
Yes, I have.
What do you think purple as 19 karat brings in terms of added value? Obviously that could have been 19 karat yellow in there, or white in there, in the same kind of design.
I was thinking about that when you had mentioned it the last time you were here and giving it some thought. You know, when a designer today designs a gold bracelet or a gold necklace just with as an art form, that ends up 2 or 3 times the cost of the metal.
Right. Okay.
This is along those lines, if not more, because it's rare, it's unusual, and I would think it's very desirable.
Right. Right. Okay.
5 times,
Gotcha. Yeah.
you know, it's really hard, I think, to put a price on it.
Okay,
You
right.
know, if someone wants it, someone will happily
Right.
pay whatever is being asked.
Right, right, okay. And a home run design matters.
Yes.
As opposed to a so-so
Of
design,
course.
of course.
Yeah.
And the craftsmanship will have to be there. But you know what? That's rarely a problem with high carat. I mean, that's people do the best work, I think, in high carat for all the right reasons.
And I think also, too, I'd interject, besides being a piece of jewelry, this is going into the art form. This is
Yeah.
a piece of art. This is something that is exclusive, that is very special,
Yeah.
and that in turn makes it very desirable.
Sure, sure.
Gorgeous. How much is it? I want it.
Yeah, well, that's what we're kind of figuring out. Hey, thanks for watching the documentary. I appreciate you taking the time. It was a collaboration of a bunch of us in the industry. Wanted to express some creativity, have some fun, and see if we could actually pull this off, and I think we did. The point is, you can mainstream this gold right to your customers. They're going to love the color, they're going to love the uniqueness. So, what's stopping you? Give me a call. You know where to reach us.